You're listening to Whispers of War.
Hello everyone and welcome to Whispers of War, show number 36. I'm your host Sil and we're back this week because I know last week I had to take a little bit of a break. It was just so manic and I was so knackered. I was really tired, and then I thought I can bring out a show and do it really rushed, and I wouldn't be really happy with it, or I could just skip a week. And I thought, you know what, I think it's probably best just to skip a week. I'm trying not to make a habit of it, but it is very hectic at the moment. New job, new things to learn. I think my old brain just can't take all these new things anymore, and I am exhausted. So, very happy. I'm very happy, but also very, very tired with so much new information that you have to process. Luckily, I can still play a little bit of World of Warcraft. I am trying to put it, to at least relax. I think you need a little bit of R&R afterwards, and what's better than, to kill your enemies in a video game with that. So, I have been doing some stuff, and some of the things that I did this week was that I'm so happy about this, I finally finished all the quests in Kul Tiras. So, I really worked my way through it, and in all fairness, I have to say, even though, which one is it? It's not, why do I want to say Shadowsong Valley, but it's not, I need to look up which one it is. Stormsong Valley, that was it. Stormsong Valley. I've been questing in Outland, that's why. Stormsong Valley had some really good quests. I'm not going to, there were some parts that I was a bit but at a certain point I had to go to a piratey kind of island, and it was actually a lot of fun. I love the tall tales with hook, line and sinker. It was really a lot of fun, and that actually lifted my mood again from, doing all the quests. You're like, oh, another quest hub. And then I basically was done. That was, I finished it and I was like, oh wow, this has gone quicker than I actually expected it to go, because I thought I still had to do a whole Tortolan quest up, but that didn't count. So I thought, well, that's all, good. I'm done there now. I'll still quest a little bit just because I want to do the Tortolan thing, so I think it gives you a reputation, so why wouldn't you, do those quests? Might as well. So that is done. That's something I can cross off my list. I've done all the quests in basically Alliance Zone, so I'm really happy about that. I still need to focus, that will actually be my next focus now, the war campaign on the Alliance side, because I finished it completely on the Horde side, or for so far I could, of course, because I'm sure it will continue in the next patches, but for now I'm done there. So now I can focus on the Alliance side. I've already gained enough rep to unlock the next part, so I'm doing that hopefully this week. And yeah, I'm just hoping that, that will give me more reputation in the meantime, because I still need to unlock the Dark Irons and the Kul Tiras. I just haven't had enough reputation for them, and even though I do watch for, those special reputations that you can hand in on your, those weeklies, I'm constantly checking, and I am trying to do, I wouldn't call them dailies, but they almost are, at my missions, my followers in the mission table. But so far I've not been really lucky with the reps that I need, so oh well, it's just a matter of patience and just continuing. It's not a rush, it's not a marathon, it is a marathon actually, it's not a sprint. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, I'm slowly getting there. As I said, I've already, said a little bit that I was also in Outland, because at the moment I am also leveling my warrior in between. I decided that my quest for a healer, even though that's still there, and I'll continue about that a little bit, I still thought, you know what, I really like playing a warrior. I really am enjoying it, and I play as Fury. I do want to try out arms, because I've heard very good things about that. I actually think I might just stick with warrior for a while, because I quite like it. The only thing I'm not certain about, and I always get this around level 60-70, after you've already leveled quite a substantial bit, is if I'm actually happy with the race. And great choice for me that to go at a certain point, like, oh yeah, I'm like level 70 now. Is this the right race for me? So I don't really want to pay for a race change or anything, so it would be a reroll, and it's kind of a lot of time and redoing all of that. I don't ever want to. So at the moment, I'm a Void Elf. And there's nothing wrong with Void Elves, but I do find her a little bit flimsy for a warrior, but maybe I just need to get my head around it and just go, you know what, it doesn't matter. You can still be a warrior and just, just keep going with that. Because I have to admit, the animations on the Void Elf are really nice, and I do like the fact when she turns really dark purple, when she goes into that Void form just during battle. I think it's really cool. So maybe I should just stick with it. I'm going to stick with it for now. I guess I have enough character slots to create a new warrior. Maybe I'll be like, is it Matthew Rossi who has so many warriors? Maybe I'll be the same, I don't know. But yeah, I'm really enjoying warrior. On my eternal quest for a healer. I know I have a druid. I can't heal over time. Like, man, I can't do it. It's just not satisfying to me at all. So I've narrowed it down to a holy priest or a shaman. I like the idea of holy priest, but I think I might get a little bit bored with the options of 2 healing and 1 damage, even though I hear that shadow is quite good now. I think I'd prefer the shaman, if I'm honest. Maybe it's because of the travel form, or, I don't know. Ghost Wolf or Ghost Raptor, I quite like that. Maybe I'll stick with that. So, yeah, I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out for hopefully next week. And I can say, you know what, I healed on a few dungeons. Maybe I should do that first and go, you know what, actually, fuck that. I'm not rolling a healer at all because it's just horrible. So, who knows. Anyhow, I will leave you now with a very, very cool interview I had with Aaron from the Do Not Relent podcast. So make sure that you give that a listen as well after the show, of course. And I'll be back once you've listened to the interview, and we'll talk a little bit more about all the things that you guys said. So I'll see you in a bit. And with me today, I'm actually being joined by, and this is like a first I'm actually saying this, a guildie of mine, because that doesn't happen often, and also someone who's recovering from some very intense karaoke. Am I correct or not, Cal?
Yes, very, very correct. Very correct.
Because I saw that Taliesin and Evertel posted a nice little video on our Facebook page and also on their Twitter about, the guild doing karaoke and everything, so it seemed like you had a good time.
Oh, it was a great time. It just destroyed my voice and everyone's voice to be exact, I would assume.
That's perfect for podcasting. So you know what? In all fairness, exactly. You are forgiven for that.
well, thank you.
So Cal, can you tell everyone who's listening who you are, what you do, just a little bit about yourself?
Originally from Minnesota. I moved to Ireland last year for my master's, studying there, but I guess in relation to this, I've been playing World of Warcraft for years. I didn't start in the conventional way. I actually started playing on private servers back during Burning Crusade.
I actually hear a lot of people do that a lot of people start out on private servers and then they really enjoy certain aspects of the game, and they're like, oh, I want to see what the normal game is like.
Yeah, and like for me, it's because I was a kid and my parents wouldn't not like a subscription game that they'd spend money on. So my brother showed me how to work private servers, and I just got on there and threw myself in there. I loved it, but I just until I got older and got a part-time job, I was never able to just pay for it myself. So I didn't actually start in earnest playing until Warlords of Draenor is when I got into retail.
Ah.
And they've just been playing steadily since then.
That's not...
But
That's
yeah, so.
still quite fresh then, in that sense.
Yeah, but I started back in Warcraft 3, or World of Warcraft was even a thing. I played Warcraft 3, Frozen Throne, and then I went back and played Orcs and Humans, and Warcraft 2 and the expansion pack for that. I was way into the Warcraft games before WoW was even around. Once WoW came, it's like, I gotta try this.
Nice, that's really nice. I like people who start with all of that, because for me it was the other way around, really, if I'm honest. Okay, so you said that you're from America originally, so I had another person a very long time ago on the podcast who had to switch from an American account to an EU account. How is all of that?
It's in one way it's easy, just with how WoW works nowadays, where you can start and like I got my EU account, had my 110 boost, so I could just get right into BFA content, which was great. It made it really easy, and I didn't really lose much gaming because I didn't have to go through and level do all that. But especially after Legion, there's a lot of other things that made it really tough, because all of the Legion unlock stuff you lose. So like all the Mage Tower skins and like curve achievements and mounts that are no longer obtainable. Those are all just sitting idle on my US account, and so that's, in that way, it's kind of frustrating.
I bet.
Having to just actually start from square one, and it's not starting from square one like with like a character and leveling, rating, and all that, because that's all pretty quick to get back up to speed with current content. But it's the cosmetics and achievements, the mounts, and all of that. That's where you're starting over. That's where you have to spend a lot of time trying to get some of that stuff back. So I find that a little frustrating at times, to be honest.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially with the Mage Tower ones, because you can't obtain those anymore. That's really a shame.
Exactly. Yeah, and like I mained a Protection Paladin all throughout Legion, and so that was the Mage Tower that I was like, I'm getting this done before I do anything else. And so for a couple weeks, I was throwing myself at that challenge on my Prop Paladin, because that Mage Tower challenge on the Protection Paladin was not fun. But I finally got it down, and I was like, all right, this is like, and I used that Mage Tower appearance pretty much for the rest of the expansion.
Nice.
And so it's like not having that anymore, as I play Warrior now, but I do have Paladin, so not having that option for my Paladin, it's a real bummer, because it really is kind of a badge of honor, having gotten that stuff.
Absolutely. I would like, that would really, really destroy me with certain things. It's just, it's not, when you look at the grand scale of things, of course it's not, but on the other hand, it's something that you achieved, it is
exactly.
You go like,
exactly.
Oh, I did all that time, I spent it on that. So no, I feel your pain on that, and I think many people who had to switch or who lost their account will feel that pain. So when you started, or maybe I know where you're playing now, because we are guild, so I know where you're playing now, but Horde or Alliance, and why?
Alliance from day one.
Okay.
Yeah, from first character I made was a Night Elf Hunter, so like day one Alliance. And I mean, at the start, like, it was just kind of an aesthetic thing. Like, I wanted to play Night Elves, and so it's like, all right, I'm gonna play Alliance. And I have played Horde characters in the past, but I've always mostly played Alliance. And like from early days, it was just the Alliance, races and what they have just appealed for, sort of what I look for in fantasy games. But then as sort of the narrative, I started caring more about the narrative. Then I was like, okay, the Alliance has these characters that I'm much more invested in, like Varian and Tyrande and Malfurion and like Bird and Magni. And so it's like getting into the lore of it, I was more drawn to Alliance than to the Horde. And then especially in BFA with sort of the direction the Horde's been going in, I'm like, I can't. It's like Alliance all the way.
Fair enough. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So you said a little bit that you got into World of Warcraft before with Warcraft 3. So how did you start that whole love for the Warcraft universe? How did you get into it?
My older brothers got Warcraft 3
Mm-hmm.
for the computer, and I remember watching them play it. And then I saw that it was cool, and like I'd liked other video games before that, especially RTSs that played a lot of Age of Empires when I was like, really young.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I got into the RTS game. Saw Warcraft. That looks really cool. It's all got like elves, humans, like fantasy stuff that I really liked because I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. So I was like, I got into Warcraft 3 and I was playing it, doing a campaign, and going through all that. And I was like, this is so cool. And then when I got into, then like I started doing like Battle.net and like online custom games. I was like, this is even cooler. Like interacting with other people and playing these really cool maps that people made that just took the rules of what Blizzard put out there, completely made it into a completely new game mode, and just learning all of that stuff just by doing it. I just found it really, really fun, and especially the online, because I'd really gotten into MMOs, starting with RuneScape actually,
Mm-hmm.
and so then. Like I loved MMOs, that sort of style of having a online world that's just populated by a bunch of other people they can play with and interact with. So then when they announced like World of Warcraft, I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is the best of both worlds right now. So that's really where like my love for WoW started, was just the combination of Warcraft and how much I love those games, and also just my interest in MMOs.
So the best of both worlds, really.
Exactly.
Okay. So you said that you started on private servers before. What's the biggest difference you notice with the paid servers and the private servers?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's been a while since I've been on private servers, but I remember, and this varied from private servers because I hopped to, but some of them had a much healthier environment than others, and I think the community on private servers is more in line with sort of what server communities were like
Mm-hmm.
back in like Classic and PC, and so that's at least now, like comparison private servers now and live servers now. But then also a lot of private servers had like tweaked to the numbers, like had increased XP gains or increased drop rates and stuff like that. And so it's also that I also found really fun. Like you could, and BC, you could start a new character and be max level in like a couple of days. And I'm like, this is so cool, because then I think on one private server during BC, when that was the server they were running, I think I had like 6 or 7 level 7s, just because it was really fast leveling, so I could really try out a bunch of different classes at max level, play around, see what I liked. So I found that to be really cool, as opposed to when I had tried WoW, which I did enjoy, but it was a much slower pace
Mm-hmm.
compared to some of the private servers. And so I found that to be a pretty unique distinction between the two, because private servers, they were a bit more flexible with sort of the rules of the game and tweaked them to kind of give each server their own unique sort of feel, especially with one other server I found too, which was like a pure PvP server, where you started off as max level with like sort of a basic set of PvP gear, and you were just in like one of the starting towns,
Mm-hmm.
and like there they had all the PvP vendors and people to queue for battlegrounds and arenas, and that's just what the server was.
Oh wow.
You couldn't leave that area except to go to battlegrounds, and so it's like you want PvP. That's what you do. It's just straight PvP, which I found really interesting because I wasn't good at PvP and I didn't play it that much. But whenever I wanted to try it, I'd like, all right, I can just go onto my character on the server, jump on the battleground, and try out PvP at like max level. And so I think that's one of the cool things about private servers, that you kind of find a server that's very much tailored to kind of what you want specifically.
That's actually really cool. I never realized that's what they did. That's really eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
As you can hear, I'm only like paid servers only. That's the only thing I've dabbled in.
Yeah.
Now, talking about, that you said about PvP servers, of course, we both are on an RP server, and when I asked you what sort of topic would you like to talk about, you said you wanted to talk a little bit about exploration in World of Warcraft and RPing. So why these two topics?
Because I guess it's came about from my sort of experience playing, because I did start in Warlords of Draenor on the live servers, and I started during, what was the last patch? It was 5.2 was Hellfire Citadel? Or was that 6.2? It was 6. I think it was 6.2 was Hellfire Citadel. But like, so I started playing WoW during like the Warlords of Draenor content route. That's when I got into the game, which was fine because I was still new. I hadn't really played anything since Kata, so I still had no idea about anything that was going on in WoD or Pandaria. So I was just having a fun time, just kind of seeing what was there and what was new that I had experienced. But then I caught up, and then I was looking for something to do, and I was like, I want to try out RPing because I like D&D and tabletop RPGs and role playing. So
Okay.
I give it a shot. And so I got into an RP guild on Moonguard, US servers, and just got into that. I loved it. It was a really small guild. We were all really close, and just had a blast. Just RPing around Stormwind and other nations in Northrend and whatnot. And so it's just a lot of fun, just kind of doing what we wanted to without really caring about raids or dungeons or PvP. And so I did not care that there was a content route going on. Everyone else is like, this raid has been out for so long, it's boring. And I was like, I give a shit. I'm still having fun. I was still logging on every day and having a blast. And then that ties in a lot with like the exploration part. I'd just be, I love just kind of wandering around, seeing what was in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in BFA. BFA has been a great expansion for that sort of stuff. Mostly just with Morales, and I'm assuming Zuldazar or Dazar lore. I don't have a Horde character.
It can be. I can say you play both factions.
Yeah, so I can speak for Morales, but like Morales, there's been some days I've just logged on and just walked around Morales, just going into buildings, going into different streets, and just seeing all the stuff there. And I'm like, they spent so much time just putting in random stuff that has no bearing on the story or the gameplay, raids or anything. It's just there. So there's just this city in the game for you to just wander around. And I love that. I love that they did that. And I love that they've been doing that more with Stormwind too, how they've been populating them with more NPCs and including just sort of more random stuff that doesn't really contribute to the story or have any importance on that, really. It's just, there's just people there, and it just makes it feel more like a living city. And so that's what I really enjoy in BFA. Along with that, because it just lets you do something different. Like I still love doing, raid and doing my war fronts when they're up to get the rewards from that and do the island. sticky grass around. But just sometimes I just log on and just go walk around Borealis.
I need to start doing that, I think.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff to find. I think my favorite thing that I've found so far was in Upton Borough. It's like this little... I don't really know how to describe it. It's like a fire pit with some benches around kind of one of the houses.
Yeah.
Some servers walking around, there's mobile sitting around. But if you go down into the cellar beneath the building, you'll see a nobleman with his arm around the servant girl, just chatting, like she's kind of like laughing. It's like, and they're not saying anything, but it's like the animations for the tunes.
Mm-hmm.
And so like she'll laugh. He's like chatting. They're talking back and forth, but but he's got his arm around her. And if you walk too close, then the servant girl does like kind of like the shy, embarrassed emote and then walks away. And I'm like, there's no quest, there's nothing, but here's a story that they put in about like this, scandalous affair between a nobleman and a servant girl that is just there for you to just stumble on. And like I remember finding that, and I was like, this is just here. This is amazing.
That is funny. I like it when they put stuff in there that really makes the game much more alive. Have you ever stumbled? You have stumbled upon NPCs. Have you ever stumbled upon players that you're like, I don't think I should have been here with RP?
Generally not, because I'm generally war mode.
Okay.
And that's one thing I've noticed that a lot of RPers do, war mode. So generally no. There's been a couple times, not recently, but there's been times in the past where I kind of stumbled in on like RP, and I'm like, oh, all right, just gonna pretend I didn't see anything.
Was that mostly like in Goldshire or?
No. I am in that place like plague. That's coming from like Moonguard US servers. It's like where that started. Like that is the Goldshire that made Goldshire infamous.
I have to admit,
so,
I've watched all of Pixel Cat's videos on YouTube, and I think that is Moonguard that he's often visiting.
I think so.
I think it's hilarious to see what's going on.
Oh yeah, like it. If you're ever just looking to just really question your faith in humanity, I feel like creating a human tomb on Moonguard on US servers, just walking the Goldshire in, you will see things you wish you had never seen. and it's interesting to say the least.
It certainly is. I mean, I can only say it from Argent Dawn's perspective, because people who know me know that I've just been in there because I think some of the roleplay is freaking hilarious. And just yeah,
some of it definitely is.
It's I've always said it was a bit like, when you're a kid and you play like these pretend stories with your friends. That's really what sometimes, we all know that the ERP is happening around you, but you still see so many people just doing silly RP, and you don't have the RP elitist around who go, you can't do that because that's not in the lore. People are just having fun.
Yeah, and that's like the big thing about RP. It's like it's just for fun. Like it has no bearing on character progression or quests or anything like that. It's something you do with friends or even strangers that are just up for it to just have fun in essentially a template that Blizzard creates. And you will occasionally get those people that are really stuck up about like the lore and like certain like quote unquote rules for RP, but I feel like most people generally aren't. There's kind of an understanding. It's like general things are universally accepted, like lore, but some slight variations to that most people don't really bat an eye, as long as it isn't like, oh yeah, I'm actually King Varian's long lost brother and I'm real King of Storm. Then people are like, yeah, all right, what? They just ignore you.
Yeah.
But But it's like if you say that, like, you're a knight in Stormwind's army, it's like, yeah, no, like totally, that's totally within the realms of possibility. Or it's like, you're a bishop in Church of Light. Like, all right, yeah, no, that's reasonable. So
and
it
gives a bit of extra dimension to your character and the game, doesn't it? When you can
exactly. I honestly have the opinion that I feel like everybody should download an RP add-on and just create a backstory for their characters that they play. Like, it doesn't have to be super, in depth or crazy, but it's just like, I like so and so grew up in Goldshire before joining the Alliance army. They rose through the ranks. Like, all right, that's great. Like, that's an RP backstory. You don't have to RP, but it just makes it feel more like an RPG when you have a backstory for your character.
Yeah,
I would encourage anybody and everybody to do that. It's fun.
I think that's a very good tip. Do you have a favorite RP add-on? If people want to give it a go, which one would you recommend?
I like TRP3, Total Roleplay 3. I think it's the most popular one, the most known. I like it because it's as simple or as complex as you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can do like really basic stuff, like here's my character's full name. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. It's like give your character a first name and last name and title if you want, and do like a short write-up about their backstory, or you can get really in depth with it and do a lot of defining characteristics and mounts, pets, and how they relate to your character. You can even set settings and how you relate to other people's characters who have the add-on. So it can be very in-depth and give you a lot of tools to work with, but you don't have to use any of them. You can just keep it very bare bones. So I feel like it's a great one for people that don't really care about getting too in-depth, but also for the people that want to get into the more nitty-gritty of RP and what you can do with these add-ons. It has that too.
I think that's a very, very good tip. Because I'm using the same one. I'm using TRP 3, and I just find it, even if you don't fill in anything yourself, you can always click on someone who does have it and just look on their profiles just to get some inspiration, just in case you want to start out and you find it really difficult. Get some inspiration from what other people write. Just don't do it in Goldshire. That's my little warning there.
Yeah, if you want ideas, go to Cathedral Square in Stormwind. That's the place to start. Don't go to Goldshire. That's
a good tip. That's a very good tip. Do you have anything else that you would like to say about exploration for RP?
Not much besides I just encourage people to give it a try, because it's super easy, it's super casual. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it every day, but you can always try it out. And especially on RP servers, the communities that do engage in RP, I've found, are generally very welcoming to people that want to learn how to do it and learn to want to give it a shot. Or even if you just want to watch people RP, that's totally cool too. So just a general, give it a shot, see if you like it. If you don't, no skin off your back, but if you do, then it's another way that you can play the game.
Yeah, I like that one. I am always so up for people promoting RP, because it's one of my favorite things in games. So yeah, that's really cool. All right, so let's go to the next part of the interview, everything around Battle for Azeroth. So what would you say you are the most impressed with in Battle for Azeroth?
I mean, like, besides, like I mentioned earlier, Morales, the world building, I do appreciate some of the storytelling that they sort of not being super upfront with the characters. Like I'm an Alliance player, and I have no problem hiding that or proud about that, but I do think that the Horde storyline right now, like Sylvanas and Sour Bane stuff, is really interesting. And I'm really looking forward to see how that plays out, because it, while I'm not a Horde player, it's not as impactful for me. I still find it very engaging, because it's basis of Warcraft is the conflict between the Horde and the Alliance. So knowing the opponent and who the opponent is going to be is just as important to the Alliance as the Horde knowing who they are. And so that's what I've really enjoyed about the BFA so far, is that internal conflict within the Horde, because it creates uncertainty for both sides. Because, as if we're going into the mindset of two sides as an Alliance player, Sylvanas is kind of like the person that I want to get rid of and I want to take down. But if, say, Bane became War Chief, if that's what happened in the expansion, it's like, all right, I'm not going to be as like, yeah, let's go get it. All right, Bane's, pretty reasonable person and a level-headed guy. He's not somebody that we need to attack or intimidate or try and lead a war against. And so I think that's what's really interesting about the story so far. So yeah, BFA, I think, for me, for what's really impressed me so far, that storytelling and how Blizzard isn't afraid to be like, yeah, we're gonna throw some massive curveballs and you're not gonna know how it's gonna end.
Well, they do like doing that.
I know. And I think that started with Legion. I think in Legion they got more brave, not pulling punches. And I think that started with like the Broken Shore, and then being, yep, now Varian's dead, yep, Vol'jin's dead. And it's like, oh shit, this is getting serious. And so I think Legion kind of gave them confidence to make some more impactful storytelling decisions. And now they're really really looking forward to just see where the story goes in the expansion.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I think a lot of people are very curious to see what happens per patch now. Now, a little bit on the lesser side of BFA. What are the things that you are the least impressed with?
I mean, up until recently, I was really just not impressed with the PvE content, dungeons and raids. Didn't really get into. I don't remember the last time they did a Mythic Plus, because the dungeons I find are not that interesting.
Okay.
I mean, they're fun to run. Like, if I do get into a Mythic Plus group or whatever, I still enjoy it. I'm still doing content. It's not something that I'm finding myself drawn to do. I've been more into the raids and getting to rated PvP. And I don't know if that's like a design or narrative or mechanic thing that's made me hesitant to that, but I just the dungeon content I haven't been super impressed with, and raid content, at least up until Battlefield 4, I wasn't that invested in Uldir. I ran it because I like raiding. That's more of just I like hanging out with people that I know doing raid. But the raid itself, I didn't find that fun. There were one or two bosses that this is pretty cool, but overall it was not. It's very lackluster, especially coming off Antorus, because I loved Antorus. That I thought was a lot of fun. So overall, I haven't been impressed with that, but Dazar'alor, I really the raid's much better, and hopefully with the new raid and the new mega dungeon, that my opinion will continue to be shifted on
that
as of right now.
That will be a good thing, I think, if it goes upwards in a line.
Yeah, because I have hopes for the Mechagon dungeon, because I loved Karazhan and Legion. Loved that, like, long 5 dungeon. And so I hope Mechagon is good. I hope it is good. I would love to have another Karazhan.
you know what? I'm going to keep my fingers crossed with you there. That would be pretty amazing if we get something like that again. Okay, so do you have any good tips for the listeners regarding Battle for Azeroth? So that could be something that you've discovered, or, you know, maybe people in the past have said, you know, take your time because don't rush for anything, or anything else that you think like, okay, you know, maybe you're burned out, maybe you should do this, or maybe you have not seen this, or what would you urge people to do?
I would say, for the most part, just pacing with the content, because there is a lot of stuff to do just with world quests and warfronts and islands, raid, dungeons, PvP, and weekly events, and all of that. It's very easy to just get thrown into stuff and just sink time in and not really achieve that much.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a little while for me, I was playing a lot, wasn't really getting a whole lot done. Like, I get my emissaries done, and get done. For the most part, it's like, alright, but like, nothing that I really want to get done. So that'd be my tip. There's a lot to do, so just pacing yourself and also just setting a clear goal when you log in, kind of what you want to get done for that day. Get my +10 done, +10, want to just finish off emissary, hit this rep or something. I feel like BFA, like, there's a lot to do, which is great. There's also a lot to do that won't really be best served for what you want to get, what you want to get done with your characters and your account. And that's something I've been trying to get a better handle on, especially since 8.1 came. It's just, what do I want to get done? Like, what do I want to get unlocked or gotten on my characters? That's what I need to focus on. So I feel like for BFA right now, especially, that's kind of the best thing for players to focus on.
Yeah, I think that's a very good tip, because it can be very overwhelming. I think, especially for people who want to do it all, it becomes a little bit overwhelming, I think. So having a clear goal, but still pacing yourself, that's a very good tip, I think. Okay, now this is a little bit. It depends who I talk to, and that question is, what has the Warcraft community meant to you? So that could be people from that you started playing with in the beginning, your friends that you met, or your guildies, or anything that is basically the community of World of Warcraft. What has it meant to you?
I mean, for me, it's just been a lot of, like, people that I've been able to just have fun with, because, like, I got back into World of Warcraft in earnest, like, after my first year in college, and, like, I was working a lot in college, because I was working security, and I'm a bit of a workaholic, so it was kind of an awful combination, because my security job, there was always shifts to pick up, and they wouldn't tell no if you wanted to work. So I ended up working a lot. Like, my social life just hit a really just awful spot. But when I wasn't working at home, I was probably playing WoW, because security also led to just awful hours, and so I would work Friday nights when people wanted to hang out, and then I'd have, Monday afternoons off. So it's like, all right, well, what am I gonna do? Play WoW. And so, like, just being able to log in, it just meant that I still had a social life. I was still able to talk to people and have fun and just not take stuff seriously, and have friends that just talk with. Something that we both liked, WoW, or just talk about, work. Oh yeah, I had a shit night at work. I did too. Oh well, we, let's go, farm some old raids for some transmogs or something. And it was just a great way to unwind and have still those social connections that just have that sort of awful work-life balance didn't really afford me outside of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's and that's what the Warcraft, like, for the most part, I've really has been the most. I've been improving my social life in recent years as I've learned what exactly was going on. But I still
considering you went out karaoke with like a bunch of people.
Exactly. But it's still something that I feel like I don't have to give up to have like a more quote unquote normal social life.
Mm-hmm.
I can still have, those connections within the community, especially after. I mean, I was lucky enough to go to BlizzCon 2017.
Oh wow!
And that was just so much fun because I went with one of my old guildmates because she got a ticket too, and so it was just really awesome, like getting to hang out with her, and then also meet some of my other friends that played who were there, and meet new people. I met up with Talias and Nevitel there. They were there too, and so it was just really great experience to just see sort of like the community in real life and have that like sort of reaffirmation of these are like people that really care about this thing I care about too, and it was just a really great experience for that. And so I think for me, like the Warcraft and also just online games in general, it's like this supplementary social network that it's different than like the friends you have in real life, but it doesn't mean they're any less important. Because like I've had really close friends that I've only known through like Warcraft, and I've also had really good friends that I've never played video games with. And so I feel like it's just like this additional friend network that you can have, that you can interact with in different ways than you do with other friends. So I think that has really been sort of like what I've taken from the community. I really enjoy about it. And I feel like other people have that too, but again, it's just what I see.
No, I think you make a very good point there. I think, like you said, you have, because even I hate it when you have to almost say like, your real life friends, because people in World of Warcraft are still like real life friends because they're still real people. They're just not like,
exactly.
Right, you just don't meet them like in the normal conventional ways. But it's just like having friends that you meet from work or friends from school, or it's all just different groups of friends. And I think, people you meet in the game, that's like another category, but it's still like, it can be really close friendships. So no, I completely am with you on that. Now we get to the weird question. The one that, it has started to lead its own life a little bit of what it is. So, what is your whisper? And for those who are like, what the hell is a whisper? It's a failed gimmick. I'll be the first to admit that. But it can be anything. So basically something that you would want to happen in game, or that you're hoping for, a little bit of a wish, or maybe it's like you want to spread a sort of rumor that is happening in the game. It might be true, it might be not. Fairy crafting, just anything you want to blurt out that people could go like, oh, all right.
This is going to be my campaign. It's going to be what I write petitions for, I give speeches about, but we need a bard class that's playable. We need bards in WoW. And,
yes, we do.
And that is the hill that I will die on. And whenever I feel kind of bad talking about Talias and so much. He's in the guild and we're friends, so whenever he brings up Tinkers, I think Tinkers are going to be a thing, I'm like, shut your goddamn mouth, Talias. We need bards. Before you even consider Tinkers, bards. Like, they are the superior class, they have a longer history in RPGs, they're more fun, and if I go off the deep end here, a bard class would be perfect for experimentation with gameplay styles, which I want Blizzard to do more of, because they do it a bit with some classes. classes. Like with priests, how they have like 2 different healing specs.
Mm-hmm.
They really kind of play around with sort of how that works and how that gameplay works with like discipline and how they deal damage to heal. And I think that's really cool and it leads to like some really fun gameplay. I've played disc priests, tried level priests. I don't think I've got priest to max level, but I've tried. Disc priests are always a lot of fun because it's just such a different gameplay style. And it works within the lore, and it works mechanically because they've experimented and they've worked up King's over a long time, which is great, and I love that. And also when you have the triple DPS spec classes, they play around with the mechanics of each spec so they feel different and unique.
Mm-hmm.
Like I played a lot of Warlock, and I more played Destro. That's the sort of gameplay that I like. I was never good at Affliction. I never really got Affliction. But I like Destruction. Play that, but that's what I like. Like it's the same class, but these specs are completely different mechanically. And it leads to some very interesting gameplay. Because like I've known Affliction Warlocks that are just ridiculously good. I can never do that with Warlock. But this is my pitch for Bard. Because Bard could give us our 4th spec, a like completely utility support spec.
Ooh.
That they're like because that fits with the lore Bards. Bards are like they use magic to buff friends and demoralize enemies. So come on, they could easily be another like 3 spec class. They have straight DPS, straight healing, and then support. So they still have the 2 traditional gameplay for people that are like, yeah, I just want to heal or damage, and then they have this very unique hybrid spec that is like they don't really do much healing, they don't do much damage, but they make other people's damage and healing and so much better. And I can understand why Blizzard is hesitant to do that. That doesn't mean I don't think that they should, because that's where the game always grows. Blizzard takes chances and they do something new and unique, like with Artifact Weapon Legion.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally new, but I would say that system was fun for the most part. It had its problems, of course, just like as we're seeing now, like the back system in PFA. But I feel like overall it was a cool system that had a lot of potential. Blizzard is still trying to figure out how to best implement it in future iterations. And so I want them to see them experiment with like core class mechanics. And I feel like Bard as being a kind of a whimsical and joke class to begin with is perfect. Because if it completely fails, they can just yank out that spec and keep it like damage healing and be like, sorry, we're just gonna shelve it. It didn't work, completely broke the game, or just it's gone. But then they can still have like the healing and damage specs for the Bard. Nobody gets to get rid of their Bard. But that is my wishful dream for WoW is Bards and a 4th spec.
I like that. Do you also reckon that we should get like different instruments per spec?
Yes. I mean, of course, you'd have to.
I'm so on your side with this now. Even if Tally says no, we didn't get Tinkers. No, we're getting Bards first. This needs to happen. I know.
Like it, and whenever I bring this up, people are like, "Oh yeah, what they did, it was the April Fool's joke back in like I don't remember, like 2007 or something." Like, yeah, but that was a joke. Now they need to do it. Like, Jaina was a Dreadlord was a joke, and then you look at Heroes of the Storm, Jaina's a Dreadlord. Like,
yeah,
they'll do it.
Pandas were a joke in the beginning as well, even though they were in the game. They were used as April Fool's jokes. So, who knows?
Pandas were a meme. I mean, they're still a meme, but they were 4 of them.
Exactly. Well, it was lovely having you on as a guest. So if people want to find you on the interwebs, where can they find you, or do you want to stay anonymous?
No, people can find me. I don't know if that much to be found, but they can check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/confusedcal. I think I stream maybe once a year, so they can look forward to that.
It's something to look forward to then.
Yeah, my like once a year stream that I do for Extra Life. That's look forward to that in November. Or YouTube, where I may or may not be making videos in some near future. I've been playing around the idea for a while. But again, same thing, YouTube at Confused Cal. They can find it there. I think I do have one video where it's a 2-hour stream that I did, like playing Fortnite when it first came out. So if you want some very boring content, you can find it there.
I wouldn't say it's boring, you know. It's you know, it will come. Everything, like if you stream, you build it up more and more and more. I will make sure that there are links in the show notes anyway. But thank you so much for being my first guildie that's been a guest.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
I hope you enjoyed that interview. It was lovely talking to Aaron, and make sure that you give his podcast a listen. And of course, subscribe, as always. You know, you will always help podcasters with that. So let's get to some stuff that I wanted to talk about over Twitter. Now, you guys have been really good, because I was a little bit of a faffer last week going, oh, do you guys have any topics that you want me to talk about, or any questions, or anything like that? And you guys did send stuff in. But I really want to keep that for a different show, so I'm all storing, you know, copy pasting all those questions into my documents that I use for inspiration. So I will keep that for sure. Now I will leave you with one, and it's the final guild drama story that I have at this point in time. If you have a guild drama story, then do send it to me, or any drama that you've had in game, or weird stories. I think it is, it's a fun segment, for me at least. It's interesting to read all of this, so I hope that you guys found it interesting to listen to them. So this one, I don't know, they say that this person is kind of like well known. I'll be honest, I don't really know this person, but that might just be my ignorance, I don't know. So this is sent in by IGN Iziralia, I hope I pronounced that correctly. And Iziralia said, so my husband, L, is a guild troll. Let me start by saying I never defend his behavior, and I usually try to really warn guilds before they accept us together how he is. I do this because his attitude has gotten us kicked out of so many guilds. He makes a ton of inappropriate jokes, trolls people hard, and is just overall difficult to deal with. Our last guild literally deleted their meme channel in Discord because of him. The story I'm going to share is from a few years ago. We had just server transferred to Dark Iron at that point, and we were guildless. A guild messaged him while he is in Shrine and asks how a high-geared mage like himself was guildless. He said that we got kicked from our last guild and ended up server transferring. I mean, everyone in trade chat knew who L was on our old server. We weren't getting into any guilds anymore. She told him, if I had an amazing mage like you in my guild, I'd never let you go. She was a really nice girl, and I warned her. I said we'd be happy to join her guild, but my husband had no filter whatsoever and could be a troll. She said it was fine. They were trying to progress raid-wise, and we would both be assets. We were in that guild barely a month. During one of the raids, we were wiping a lot. The GM kept messing up. I don't know what the limit was for L, but eventually it was reached. He said he couldn't understand how one person could keep messing up so many times. He asked her if she cared about her guild at all. She said she did. He said, okay, and he kicked her from the raid group. When she started yelling at him in guild chat, he told her that if she wanted to do what was best for us, she would bench herself and let the good raiders raid. He was then guild kicked. I was like, well, I'm sorry about him. It was fun while it lasted. Bye. Sad smiley face. After his most recent escapades, I decided it would just be better if we joined separate guilds. I need to progress this expansion pack, not get kicked every tier. I feel so sorry for you. I think there is a point, because sometimes you do see, you know, raid leaders go, okay, just because you are an officer or a guild leader That doesn't mean that you're an asset to the raid, and if it doesn't help with progression, you get kicked. Or you get benched, you know, that's more it. So, yeah, maybe not the best way of doing it, and I feel for you that your husband put you in such a difficult position. But, it is an interesting story. And at least, you know, you've warned people beforehand. So, as I said, this was the final one, guys. I really do hope that you send in some more stories. And of course, you know, if you want to really listen to really amazing stories, go to Preacher's channel, because Preacher's Guild drama is amazing. I love listening to it. Often on Friday, I just see him stream and hear about it. But if you don't have time for that, go to YouTube and find his channel. So that's it, and I'm also looking for more guests. Whether you're new, whether you're returning, you've been on the show before and you want to come back, please come and give me a prod on probably Twitter is the best one, because I would love to talk to you and have you on the show maybe again. So how can you do all of that? You can find me, of course, on whispersofwar.podbean.com for all the show notes and links. On Twitter at whispers_of_war, and of course via email whispersofwarpodcast@gmail.com. Right, guys, thank you for waiting for a week. We're back, being good. I will be back next week, and hopefully I've decided then about a healer. I hope. So have a lovely time in Azeroth and in the real world, of course, and I hope to see you all next week. Bye bye!